Hello folks and welcome to a brand new video of Fox Reacts. Today we're checking out a new vid from Popcross Studios about turning more Pokemon into SCPs. Let's hop in and see just which mons are monstrous now.
Pokemon as SCPs, one of my absolute favorite series on this channel, which hasn't gotten an official new full episode in quite a while. If you
Yes, it has been
ignore
quite a
the
bit.
compilation episode I put out recently, because, you know, that only had one new drawing in it. I'm super excited to be back into this.
damn.
I hope you
I
all
missed out
are
on
as
that.
well. A lot of the ones I'm using today are based on suggestions from previous video comment sections. And let's not delay, shall we? Let's go.
Really?
Hit like,
Huh.
if you want.
Okay.
Subscribe, if you feel like. But either way, enjoy the show.
Let's do this.
Good evening, all. As usual, I am Professor Oakland, returned from my
Toxic
sabbatical
Croak.
and ready to recommence my lecture series on entities and creatures that fall under the subcategory of SCP-P. The entity we begin with today holds many similarities to an entity we've discussed in the past, but also has distinguishing, unique features to its biology.
Ooh.
Item number SCP-P454. Object class,
454 Pokemon.
Special containment procedures. Specimens of P454 are to be housed in a 50 by 50 foot biome constructed to allow plant life to grow, resembling the atmosphere of a marshland. Entities are to have tracking devices implanted under their skin to ensure personnel do not enter containment without being aware of the exact location of each specimen within the containment.
Clever.
Description: SCP-P454 is a species of largely blue humanoid frogs. They have black and red bone claws jutting from their forearms and from their heels, from which they can dispense a dangerous poison
I guess they do
that
kind
has
of have
proven
spikes on
lethal
their heels.
in high enough doses.
Never thought of it like that.
They consistently bear a toothy grin and sinister glare, even when presenting a positive demeanor.
Wait, a 2-foot grin?
Previously, it was believed that these
that's a big
creatures
mouth.
were an evolutionary offshoot of SCP-P658. Further studies, however, have disproven this theory, but the studies have also proven it to have a similar ancestry to an entity we've yet to discuss, SCP-P537, another blue humanoid frog species we have in containment. P454 specimens do not possess the ability to turn water particles in the air into weapons, as P658 can, but the toxins they are constantly producing in the poison sacs on their throats has proven to be an equally dangerous weapon, especially when administered to a foe using the sharp bone protrusions from their forearms. When the toxin secreted was tested on a D-class personnel in a quarter-ounce dose, the subject became extremely feverish and hallucinated for a period of 3 days, followed by a week of further recovery. Strangely, however, further studies on samples of this poison have proven that it can be diluted, boiled, and ultimately altered into a tonic that can dramatically enhance one's immune system for a period of 1 week. Further tests are still being done to see if the healing properties can be enhanced further, and P454's documents will be updated as tests continue.
Nice.
This species has proven very drawn to fighting. The 5 specimens we have on site have each attempted to commence combat with personnel entering their containment, as well as with one another. As such,
I imagine you walk into the room, you see this thing, and it's like, hey, yo, come at me. Come on, let's fight. Now that is funny.
Personnel are required to be very careful when entering their containment, but beyond normal precautions, these entities have not given us reason to suspect they'll be a large concern for regular containment breach.
Yeah, as long as you can decline combat with them, you should be fine. Toxic Croak. Yep.
Item number SCP-P386. Object class, Keter. Special containment procedures. P386 is currently housed in a 10 by 5 foot triple reinforced titanium cell, giving it no space to get momentum in movement.
Good.
Psionic nullifiers are to be constantly active, with a second set ready on a generator in case of power failure. Personnel may only enter this entity's containment with written permission from the O5 Council, as zero risks are being taken with this being. Description: P386 is an orange and teal humanoid alien entity with a purple gem in the center of its chest that we believe to be the equivalent of its brain. In its resting state, the entity has 4 tentacles in place of its arms, though it has proven able to reform these tentacles into arms more similar of that of a human, among other transformations. It can change any part of its body and seems to have different forms used for different purposes. It has a rounder, burlier form in which its skin hardens to better defend itself from attacks,
Defense
a lean,
mode.
aerodynamic form where 2 of its tentacles disappear and its speed is greatly enhanced,
Speed
as
form.
well as a combat-ready form, which it was
Attack
first
form.
sighted in by personnel when it entered Earth's atmosphere 7 years ago and was promptly attacked by a previously discussed Apollyon-class SCP, P384. P384 has commonly been found to protect our world from entities approaching from beyond the stars, and it appeared particularly hostile towards this entity. Observation from SCP personnel of the battle that followed these entities meeting was conducted through satellite imaging and lasted approximately 37
no shit. You
minutes.
don't want to be
an
anyone
alarming
near a
amount
fight
of time
with
for
these
any
guys.
creature to survive against the powerful sky dragon P384. P384 was eventually able to strike the intruder from the sky, and once P386 crash-landed to Earth, Foundation personnel were quickly on the scene to get it into containment. Frankly, we believe we would not be able to apprehend this creature again without the aid of an SCP as powerful as P384, hence the extra precautions in containing this creature. In containment, this entity has proven to have a wide array of abilities, from psychic attacks to energy manipulation, incredible strength and speed, and even cloning, though its duplicates are all easily distinguishable as they appear as desaturated versions of the original.
Okay.
We have attempted to communicate with this entity to discover if it is part of a wider species, and we currently believe it can understand us to at least some degree, but it has made no attempt to communicate back, as it seems particularly hostile towards us, which I suppose is fair considering it is currently our captive. Additional measures are currently being trialed to help continue containment of this entity, but it regularly manages to damage its cell, even with all the reinforcements, and all personnel on site should be informed of the risks of this entity eventually breaching containment.
Yeah, you really gotta pray that this guy doesn't get out. He's Dioxys, the DNA Pokemon. Oop, hold on, we got an ad coming up, folks. We're back from the break with the fish fox that everyone likes, Vaporeon.
The next SCP we'll discuss is one in a grouping of SCPs that all spawn from a single species, classified SCP-P133. That is able to transform its biology based on any environment it resides in for a long enough period of time. Today I will cover a variant of this species that was the result of P133 residing in a water-based environment for a period of 3 years. Item number SCP-P134. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. P134 is currently housed in the Ruby Sector biome,
I wonder if any of these mons are going to be classed as safe.
It consistently remains near or in the lake in this biome, and may be approached freely by personnel so long as it has not recently shown signs of aggression. Description: SCP-P134 is an aquatic, cat-like specimen with fins emerging from its head and a long fish tail. It is largely blue in color and can blend very easily into the water, making it near invisible when it remains still while submerged.
Oh, look, the eyes actually make it very cute.
This entity has proven able to detect changes in the weather using its fin, and if it's seen with its fins shaking, you can be sure that a rainstorm is on the way, with the severity of the tremble representing the intensity of the storm to come.
Nice.
As some other aquatic SCP-P specimens can, P134 has proven able to hold water in sacs in its stomach and then project that at rapid speeds as a weapon. It can also blend this water with a saliva it produces to make a thicker liquid and then shoot that forth as a stream of bubbles. Bubbles that can strike with surprising force, as when they burst they cause minor shockwaves. D-class personnel subjected to attacks from this beam of bubbles have revealed intense bruising in the places they were struck. While we currently only have one specimen of P134 in containment, it is believed that, like with other variants of P133, this species' demeanor is largely a result of their training. Like a common house pet, they can be taught to be friendly towards humans, though also like a common house cat, even a well-trained one can unpleasantly lash out against its owners or their kin.
Cats are assholes, you gotta remember that.
Would be classified as safe if it weren't for one incident in which it was riled up by a specimen of P214 in the Ruby Sector biome. The large beetle creature got too close while P134 was in an aggressive state and caused the creature to attack. Personnel entered to separate the two, at which point P134 fled for the open door and escaped the safari zone for a period of 11 minutes before being recaptured, calmed, and contained.
Good work, guys.
This is an incident that likely would not occur again, but for the time being, classification will remain Euclid all the same.
Vaporeon, the Waterstone evolution. Who's next?
The final entity we'll discuss today has only recently been brought into containment, and as such has not yet been given a number classification. With its item number still pending, I will refer to it in this lecture with the colloquial term researchers investigating the creature have dubbed it, the Cycle Lizard. Object class, pending as well, but presumed safe. Special containment procedures. The 3 cycle lizards we have in containment are currently housed in standard containment cells, but are also regularly brought out of containment to conduct trials and experiments on. It is thus far theorized that not only will it be safe to allow them to wander about the facility in which they are housed freely, but also that they may become an asset to the Foundation in the future. Research still pending for verification.
Makes sense. Description. We don't know anything about this mod yet.
The cycle lizard is a species of lizard with a biological protrusion contained near its throat that doubles as, essentially, a wheel. Its tail can also convert into a wheel-like shape, giving this creature the ability to, for lack of a better term, transform its body into a sort of biological motorcycle. It was discovered on an island the Foundation was only recently able to make landfall on, due to the immense storms that regularly circle its outer shores. The island itself is an anomaly, as it is separated from the rest of the world, and yet its residents have technology as advanced as that found across the rest of our world. Locals were not hostile towards us, but do wish to maintain the secrecy of their homeland. They refer to their island as Paldea, and it has many SCP-P specimens roaming about its lands freely. The locals are well aware of them, however, and manage to live in a somewhat tenuous peace with the various creatures. The island also has many SCPs we had not yet discovered, such as the cycle lizards, which the locals actually use as a common form of transportation. Many members of Paldean society have cycle lizards, essentially as pets, but pets that they can ride in their motorcycle-like states to get across various parts of the island. It seems once trained enough, this species can undergo a rapid metamorphosis, similar to that of other SCP-P specimens, into one of 2 alternate states, in which their abilities become further enhanced. Though we were not able to bring any of the evolved members of this species into containment, as the species only goes through this transformation once trained by a human.
Okay, so everyone in the fandom has pretty much assumed, or has agreed upon, that Psylizard will evolve into one of the 2 legendaries, depending on which game you get. And so, I'll be honest, that's an interesting concept. I mean, it's like what they did with Cosmo in the Alola region. I mean, if it turns out to be true, you are all geniuses. If it turns out not to be true, hey, you guys jumped the gun.
No locals were willing to part with their pet/transportation. We are currently attempting to train 3 cycle lizards we were able to bring from the island, so that we may aid them in transforming into their later forms, and then we can study those as well, and will likely provide altered classifications for them in those converted states.
Okay,
Research is obviously very much ongoing, and I'll keep you all updated in future lectures as to how our information on cycle lizards and the SCPs from Paldea in general is growing. For today,
I would love
that
to
is
see
all the
one
time
on
we
cloth.
have. Suggestions for future lectures, as always, is open.
I'm going to suggest cloth. I want something about that stony titan crab.
Alright, so I definitely still love this series, and I would be happy to keep it going if you all are still into it as well.
Why not?
Or, of course, I could continue my new Pokemon as Dragon series, or both. Give me ideas for other Pokemon you'd like to see me use in this series, that series, or do whatever with. And if you're new to the channel and you haven't seen the previous episodes in this series, all the other ones have been put in one convenient compilation video that I'll link up in the cards. But besides that, that's all for today, except of course for ending this video on some kind of positive or inspiring note, and the thought I want to leave people with today is a quote from Carl Jung, which is, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." We all have things that we do in our daily lives unconsciously that can be helping us or hurting us, so take some time to analyze the way you live your life regularly and see if there's anything you could do to improve your routines, and build yourself some more positive unconscious actions by first
that's a very nice
them consciously. I hope that's inspiring to someone out there. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next episode on Friday. Goodbye.
Okay, folks. Oh, damn it. Hold on. Let's hope that ad doesn't play. It's not. Okay, good. So, that is what we're going to end off today's video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Down in the description will be a link to the original video, so remember to support the original creator and all they do. And I'll see all you folks next time. Peace out.